Griffin spends countless hours of his own time digging up stats, records, everything, so that this can be done the right way instead of just a popularity show and who can find the most computers to vote from. So thank you all for that. That's well appreciated. The one guy you know that I have to thank taught me everything. Gave me the inspiration to be a race car driver, taught me how to build a race car, work on a race car, and drive a race car. Dad, I hope I made you proud, buddy. I'm honored to be the second father and son family to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. That's pretty special. Dad, come up here. There's a lot of special people that helped me get to where I'm at. Charlie Reagan Jr., Metz, and Johnny Krantz. Johnny Krantz was another father to me. He taught me how to do things the right way, and I attribute that to a lot of my success. You know, not too many people have the opportunity to drive for other people besides their family. I've had a couple of people that were very special that put me in their cars. Bob Crum, we lost him earlier this year, gave me some really good rides. We won a lot of races and a couple of championships together. Papa Rich Crisafulli and the Crisafulli family, they also treated me like one of their sons. Rich created a business when I was out of a job, so I would have a job, and paid me to work on the race car that I drove until we opened the business. Really special family. So there's a lot of other people to thank too. Jim McCoy Sr. and Jr. have been, you know, behind me the whole way up until this day. Dick Maston let me use his car when my car got totaled to finish out the year and won my second championship. That was pretty special too. Just a lot of people along the way have just been behind me. You know, I help people out, they would help me out, and you know, I really appreciate that. I'd also like to thank my wife. She always supports my passion. She wasn't around for the Hialeah days, but she's behind me all the way, even when I want to go racing these days. So, thank you. Thank you, everybody. I just want to say how much this means to me personally, but nothing compares to what's sitting in this room tonight, right now. Thank you all for the friendships, the brotherhoods. It's been a great ride. Thank you all.
This next guy was a 5-time mini stock champion. 95, 96, 98, 99, damn, he didn't take a break. 2001, as well as 80 feature wins. Driver of the number 31, David Russell. "80 wins at Hialeah Speedway is really getting it done. I think he's still involved in racing up around the New Smyrna area.
Truly an honor. Thanks, Ronnie. Thanks, Bruce. Yeah, Richie couldn't have said it better. There's not much I could say different than what he just came up here and delivered. Congratulations, everybody. Mike, well deserving over there. Truly, I remember sitting out in the stands and watching racing, and racers like Dana Barlow and S.E. Klinger, they inspired me to get off the bench and get a car and start racing. And yeah, it's pretty enlightening, and had a pretty good career, and put a lot of work into it. And everybody knows if you don't put the work in, you don't get the results. But this is a true honor, and awesome to be a part of this fraternity and this group of people. So thank you.
Yeah, this last group we've been talking about here, Richie and David Russell, are all from the 2000 group, along with this next guy. We could be here a while on this one. First time I raced with this guy, and it's nothing to do with me, but it's all about these guys that are getting the awards. I've just raced long enough to race with everybody in this room, I think. But first time I raced with him was on a slot car in Davie, Florida. He was standing next to me, and two of the other racers got in a fight. They're rolling on the floor. He goes, Joe, they're fighting. I was like, just drive your car, you'll get by them. He started racing mini stocks soon after that, and he was always at his dad's shop, was always at the racetrack. There's a picture on the internet of him pushing a tire next to his dad, and the tire is bigger than he is. I would always go by the shop and talk to him, and he was like my little brother. And he was like a sponge. He always wanted to know about racing. He turned into a heck of a race car driver and a heck of a mechanic and crew chief, or whatever you want to call him. He only raced for 5 years at Hialeah, and in them 5 years he won a mini stock championship, plus Rookie of the Year, and late model point championship in 2004. He won 30 features. He went on to become a crew chief for a lot of people and traveled all over the country. We lost Tommy a few years ago, and at his funeral, it was 2 days of just people packed into that place. He made such an impression on people, it was unbelievable. I know how bad he wanted this, and he wanted it probably about as bad as I did, and it's one of the biggest things in my life, I can promise you. Your next inductee is my friend and my little brother, the late Tommy Styer Jr.
Wow, good to see y'all. COVID, 5 years ago, last deal we were supposed to have was 2017, and we were supposed to have one a few years back. Tommy had a premonition that maybe I might get voted in, Dad. So, that'd be great. Voted in on his merit, what he achieved. He achieved a lot in those short years. Me and Joe were together last weekend, marrying off Kelly Burns. Joe walked her down the aisle. She had a little locket on her bouquet. Picture of Tommy, number 2. Beautiful. She had one of her grandfather, or her grandmother and his grandfather. They both passed away too. Well, he crew chiefed her for a championship at Punta Gorda. We did the same thing with Michael Burns, New Smyrna Speed Weeks 3 years in a row. Good kid. TJ Duke, another one. Worked with Jeremy Upchurch, Battle of the Beach, won that with a guy named Kyle Larson. Did the Denny Hamilton Memorial, won that with Tony Stewart, with Jeremy Upchurch building the motors, working on a car. So he accomplished a lot. He was all over the country. He was working with a lot of good people. I got that same chance working with Tommy Model, Buddy Griffin, got a chance to work with Gary Ballou. We did a race in a KISS car, Nashville. Danny Sykes won that race that day. Wonderful drive, masterful drive, did a great job. So I'm blessed. Had Tweety at the shop a couple times over there in Carrotland, talking theory and how stuff should work and shouldn't work and stuff. But he says, you gotta paint everything black. I said, why we gotta paint everything black on the race car, buddy? He says, you gotta hide all the sins. Well, I was trying to figure out what we were sinning about. And it wasn't that we were hiding sins. We were hiding everything that was massaged. That's the sins we were hiding. So I tried to bring Tommy up the same way. I told Tommy, hey, look, a lot of great people in racing. You got to hang out with the good ones. They're going to teach you a lot of stuff. I tried to do my best with that kid, and he learned a lot. But it all started with my mom, Renee Styer. Sat in them grandstands every week, bitching. Joe Winchell. Why is Joe Winchell outrunning Bobby Harth? Why is this? Why is that? Well, I can't get Reba Singh's car go no faster. How come Mike Cohen's car is faster than this? How this, that? And I said, hey, Mom, cut me some slack. Give me a break, will you? Then it started with Tommy. How come Tommy's car? How come he can't beat S.C. Klinger? How about David Russell? I said, hey, get off your wallet and buy some tires for the kid. You're making good money. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, my son, man, he was the best. Slot cars. David Sears. Is David Sears here tonight? David Sears was one of the guys fighting at the slot car track that night. He's related to you, ain't he, Daryl? Yeah, he is. Don't bullshit me. He's related to you. Don't start shaking your head like Joe Biden over there. Come on, man. I figure I'd get a stab in at that bastard. Anyway, my kid, hell of a race car driver. Boy, he could fix anything. I was telling Greg Griffin, Pee Wee Jr. right there, buddy. I see him, I see Pee Wee. Pee Wee came over to the shop one time. He says, can you weld this? I says, weld that? And I said, man, I'm busy, Pee Wee. I said, ask my kid to weld it for you. He says, your kid knows how to weld? I said, yeah, he knows how to weld. I think Tommy was like 26 or 27 at the time. Pee Wee always have odd jobs. Bring him over. Hey, can you do this? Can you weld this? Can you fix this? Can you bolt this? Nut that? Yeah, I can do it. So Tommy says, I'll weld it, old man. Oh man, yeah, I'll weld it. You know how to weld? Yeah, Tommy, I know how to weld. So he says, Tommy says, what kind of metal is that? Pee Wee says, cast iron. You know how to weld cast iron, kid? Yeah. So he goes over, gets the torch, starts heating the pieces up, lets them temper up a little bit, gets the welder out and welds it.